G'day, and welcome to another geography skills video. This one's a bit different. Today we're going to look at the water cycle. And I'm going to bring a diagram that I drew that'll hopefully make it a little bit clearer for you. And if you're really good, I might even do a little water cycle wrap for you. I'll explain more about that later. Let's bring forward this little diagram that I drew. I'm going to use the Force today as part of the Rogue One's just come out. So for all those Star Wars nerds out there, hopefully this is good. We're going to use the Force to go through this diagram. So I'll bring it over from the right. Perfect. As you can see, very well drawn, great detail. Monet himself. All right, we'll start with water sitting in the ocean, sitting in soil, sitting in kind of plants. And what we'll do, we'll evaporate that water. This process is when water is heated and part of it becomes water vapor, and it rises up in a process called evaporation. That comes from both soil and from the sea and from rivers and lakes. And we also get transpiration. So it's a similar thing coming from plants. So this water vapor rises up into the atmosphere, and the higher it gets, the colder it gets. As this water gets colder, we have the process of condensation. That condensation means the water forms together and makes clouds. These clouds are then carried by air currents. As it gets denser and denser and joined by more and more water droplets, we get precipitation, which is water falling from the earth from clouds, otherwise known as rain. This rain then falls onto the earth. First of all, we have surface runoff, which is water just kind of flowing down mountains and the like. After that, it infiltrates into the soil. Then we get groundwater. We get into the water table. We get water runoff into lakes, into rivers, and eventually into the sea. So the water that we're using today would be very similar to water that was used thousands and millions of years ago. So that's the natural water cycle. Now, I had a jump on YouTube, and I thought, let's just see if there's any videos out there that are kind of already doing what I'm talking about. And what I found was some random little kiddie songs that kind of were this little cutesy little lyrics, and they had like 1 million views, and like one of them had 3 million views with these like really like classic 80s graphics and, you know, pixelation and very cool stuff. So I thought I could do better than that. And so what I did is I got on good old GarageBand, and I decided to make a water cycle rap. So for listening this long, I'm going to treat you all to the water cycle rap. I haven't got a better name for it at the moment. Let's call it H2O to go. Let's begin this spray with a pretty simple notion. A whole bunch of water just making up the ocean. Heat it just a bit and you get evaporation. Liquid becoming vapor, rising to the occasion. But the vapor finds itself in some atmospheric cooling. It turns to big fat droplets and we see it kind of pooling in a process that the scientists describe as condensation. Basically, it forms those clouds we see in cool formations. Now these clouds are pushed by currents flying oh so far and free, where they join with other clouds and they grow in density, till their mass exceeds the limit. Gravity gives this equation, and the droplets start to fall as rain or precipitation. When they hit the ground, they start something that we call collection, as they become surface runoff aquifers or make connections, with other droplets joining up and starting a devotion to something bigger than themselves, like forming lakes and oceans. But hey, hold on a minute.
we're in some distant bay. And isn't that the place where we begun this water spray? We started with that notion of the water in the ocean, then it's risen and just fallen back. Well, what's with the commotion? Well, it's not some kind of trick or me being all maniacal. I just drip fed you a process called the water cycle.